This is a 5-year-old roof. So he was told that this shingle has copper coating on it by a salesperson. Said this will never ever get algae on it. Well, I can tell you, there's most definitely algae all over these shingles. And just in 5 years, this roof has already got quite a bit of algae growth on it. Now, algae is really there because it's eating the limestone in the shingles. So manufacturers will, basically make their material look really pretty. You could see this is really pretty material, GAF, but it's basically just lipstick on a pig, because after a while it looks like this. So it's because they put a lot of filler in their material, and because they put so much filler in their material, their material gets a bunch of lichen and algae growing on it, and then it will prematurely fail, because this is actually going to wick away the natural oils in the shingles. And when I clean this roof, if I clean it, removing the algae is like removing a weed out of the ground. It creates voids in the shingle where the algae used to be. So unless you go back and, reactivate the asphalt with a rejuvenator, you're going to have even further premature wear. But yeah, hopefully we could save this shingle. I'm hoping we could save this roof, actually. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have enough ventilation on this roof. This thing is, you can see all these blisters right here. Blisters. You got a big old buckle in the roof right here. You can see that. That is, something's going on there. That's a pretty large buckle. It could be just where the roof line used to be, and then they added this patio right here. It could be nothing, but I definitely want to make sure if I'm going through this, that is not going to give me any further problems, because you could actually see on the top of this buckle, the shingles are wearing. And these shingles are field shingles. They're not meant to bend at all. They're not hip and ridge shingles. So whenever you have even the slightest bend, they are going to prematurely wear along that bend line. So definitely have to take a look at that. But yeah, this shingle's very blistered. They didn't add enough ventilation. This is the problem, is if this customer makes a claim with their shingle manufacturer, the shingle manufacturer is going to come here and tell him that his roofer didn't put on enough ventilation on the roof. And then they'll further depreciate his claim. They're going to say, well, it says right here in our documentation, you need this many vents for this many static units of air in your attic. And right now, he only has just these little ridge vents on his house. He doesn't have adequate ventilation. So, but you can see all the blisters. This is terrible. This roof is only 5 years old, and look at the asphalt loss. Look at that. Look at that big old heat blister right here. That's a heat blister. The engineer's going to come here, and they're going to tell him that this is all blistered up material. This isn't hail damage. Those are heat blisters. Anyway, whenever you're having a roofer come out and take a look at your roof, let's make sure that we're getting an entire scope of work, and but then also an entire scope of what the circumstances of the existing shingles are. You don't want to just come over here and say, hey, I don't see any hail damage or wind damage. No luck this storm season. See you next year. You want to say, hey, we don't have enough ventilation. We need to clean the algae off. I see a lot of heat blisters on the shingle. If you do want to replace it, we have to make sure that we're going to go back with enough ventilation on this thing. Be a real roofer, not just a claim specialist. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's enough of my TED Talk for today. Y'all take care today.